What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Movie Emporium's TV review of Season 2, Part 1 of Amazon Prime's original series, Invincible. This will, of course, cover the first 4 episodes of Season 2. So, just to let you know, this is a spoiler-free review of the first 4 episodes of Season 2, which is Part 1 of Invincible. I won't go into major details, but I will go into kind of like what happened before and maybe a little bit into what happens in Season 2, but nothing like really major. But for some reason, Amazon wanted to cut this series, second season, into 2 parts. Why? Keep people on Prime, I don't necessarily know. But anyways, season 1 I didn't do a review for because I hadn't watched it till recently. It was fantastic. I loved it. It was insane. It did crazy things. I don't know if it's as crazy as The Boys, but as a comic book superhero series, it definitely did what it needed to do. And especially the destruction of Chicago and that whole murder sequence and just how bad Invincible got beat up. It just was a pretty crazy thing to watch. And on top of that, everyone was great. Sandra Oh and, J.K. Simmons and Steve Yeun. And of course, everybody that's in the show. It's pretty crazy. It's a lot of great comedians and so on and so forth. So with that said, I also watched the special, the Adam Eve special, which I thought was fantastic. Actually, probably better than the first season, to be fairly honest. And so here we have the second season, which is like 30 months after the original first season. That's how long it's been taken to get the series out in the second season. But with season 2, now that Omni-Man has left Earth, the kind of rehabilitation of Chicago and everything has started to happen. And this second season takes place about, I would say, probably about 6 months to a year after that incident in Chicago. Superheroes are really not well looked upon, but this is a world that's like ultimately changed, and which are like 9/11 or something like that, which I'm assuming is kind of like an homage or kind of paying tribute to that type of thing. And basically, he sees Invincible kind of struggling with the situation at hand. It sees him struggling with his fact that his dad did the atrocities that it did. The mom's trying to deal with the situation at hand as well. We, of course, have the Guardians of the Globe who are trying to move past the situation to become the true Guardians of the Globe that were once not. And it basically sees Invincible Mark just having to grasp and having to move forward and having to be the hero that he kind of didn't see himself becoming. And there are things in the second season which hint to, like, I don't want to say too much, but hint at kind of alternate things that could happen and how does that play out. And on top of that, like I said, it deals with like Mark and his friends like William and of course his girlfriend moving on to college, and it deals with a new villain and stuff like that. It brings back a lot of old characters, and Peter Collins in this season, which is kind of cool, and brings a whole lot of new actors and stuff like that. And we get introduced to some really cool characters, some characters that were in the first season that kind of have an interesting new twist. And it basically becomes like a continuation, but kind of a how do we deal with the situation that happened a year prior, and how do we kind of move forward past that. And of course, different people deal with it in different forms of kind of levity and so on and so forth. So it's basically that in a nutshell. It's 4 episodes long. The next 4 episodes will premiere sometime in 2024. And it basically is a continuation of kind of what happened after Omni-Man left Earth. So like I said in my quick, season 1 kind of review, I really liked season 1 a lot. I thought it was fantastic. I was really looking forward to season 2 after watching that, because I'm one of those people that waited way too long to watch the first season. So here I am kind of going straight into it. I wanted to watch it. I heard it was really good, and I wanted to go straight into season 2 right after it. And so they were nice enough. Amazon was nice enough to send me the 4 episodes, and here we are. It's releasing very, very soon. I think episode a week, which is different than what they did in the first season. And so for my honest review of the first 4 episodes, it continues to be a fantastic, interesting look into a superhero kind of world. The dichotomy and kind of the justifications for these superheroes are really fascinating. It has the biting humor. It actually gives characters that may have been side characters much more interesting kind of structure, and kind of taking those characters and kind of pushing them forward. It kind of goes and does some twists and turns. It has a really interesting 4th episode, which once again I'm not going to spoil, but leads into some really interesting kind of world building for character like Mark and so on and so forth. And the fact they're going to college and so on and so forth, it really kind of continues what makes Invincible great, with great characters, the great dialogue, the great action sequences, the great violence. I mean, it's not great, but the violence is really, as justifiable as it was in the first season. And it's a really fun, really kind of chaotic 4 episodes, and does a lot with those 4 episodes, and kind of pulls the rug. I love when they do like the end credit sequence, and then they may go into like a 4-minute credit sequence itself, and I love that kind of stuff. And once again, Steve Yeun and Sandra Oh and J.K. Simmons, whatever he's in here, they do a really nice job. And like people like Gillian Jacobs and Walter Goggins and Zazie Beetz, they all do a competent job as they did in the first season. There's not really what I would call much more to the second season than there was in the first season. There's interesting kind of, like I said earlier, character development in certain characters that we only may have seen play bit parts. Certain characters do certain things that cause interesting kind of world building when it comes to like villainous and stuff like that, being villains. And it just continues to show that the show just knows what it's doing. Whether I think it can handle 8 seasons like they want to do, I definitely don't know. But I like the fact that Mark is such at odds about what happened. Like, he hates his father, but he kind of loves his father, and all the destruction, and how does that play out amongst the people, and how does it look? There's a scene in this season where Adam Eve goes and helps out a building construction thing, and that's not really a spoiler. I mean, it is what it is because of how she is. And one side of the coin, the people of the world kind of love her for the fact that she's trying to rebuild, and then you have the construction workers that are absolutely upset because here they are having to rebuild a thing that superheroes destroyed. And I think that's what makes the series so great, is the simple fact that it does what maybe Marvel and DC don't do a lot of times, that is going into what these characters are capable of and how they're capable of doing things, and the destruction that they can create. When they create that destruction, it never seems like, outside of maybe like Civil War, the Captain America movie, it just seems like they get away with it and nobody really cares. And I'm not saying that's necessarily a bad thing. I'm just saying there is a lot of like actually the storyline carrying and people carrying, and it actually gives levity to the fact that these characters can be very, very dangerous. I mean, there are scenes in this second season with the mother that really show the repercussions of like her being the wife of Omni-Man, and it just I find that so riveting. Like I said, like sometimes the story and the character dialogue can be a little slow, but I think the justification on kind of where the characters go, how they have to react to things, how they have to deal with things, the guy who turned into the young kid, that was like that really disformed figure, kind of like the Elephant Man, and then you have Monster Girl. That relationship is kind of fully expanded. There are some things with that are brought in with certain characters, new characters and new kind of abilities. There's a character, it's like somebody, I think it's like Speed Man or Bulletproof Man or whatever. He has a thing with Rex where they go back and forth, which is a lot of fun. And it really is a well-produced show. I think the first season is a little stronger because this definitely tries to do a little more, tries to bite off a little more than it can chew when it comes to the kind of where it's going and where it's heading and what it's expecting of the audience. And like I said, I can't really get into details, but just know that it's not the worst thing in the world, but it kind of does take it down a little bit. There's some plot threads going on in here, which I feel are a little bit left behind. And I think they needed to balance a little bit more of like certain characters and how they progress and how they act. It feels like there's it's weighted towards Mark, which is what it should be, and Mark's kind of his plight with dealing with the fact that his father was a terrible human being. But there are some things with like certain other characters, like certain side characters, that feels like it could use a little bit more. And then once again, they bring in a character, like a fun character, and they give him like 25 minutes of the episode, and it's a lot of fun to see. And episode 3, which I won't spoil, is there's like, before it gets into the meat of the episode, there's a really funny segment at the very beginning. I think it lasts like 20 minutes or maybe at the most, and it's really funny. It's really lighthearted, but it has some levity to it, which I thought was really, really great. So overall, to kind of conclude this, I really enjoyed this first part of the second season. Once again, I don't know why they're doing this, but I think it has a lot of potential of being another fantastic second season as long as the second half holds up. And once again, Invincible shows that it's one of the great comic book series working today, and it's just fantastic. I mean, it really is. There's some great moments in the second season. and it uses a Radiohead song, which I think is like Karma Police or something like that, which I thought was great, which it shows like at the very beginning of the first episode. So overall, I'm gonna give this I'll give this a 9 out of 10. I think I would give the first season like a 9.5, and the special like a 10 because it was fantastic. But a 9 out of 10, I think, for the first 4 episodes. We'll see when it gets to the last 4 episodes where it really ranks. But I think this is another good start for the for a show that's been kind of on the hot streak since the beginning a couple years ago. So anyways, with that said, that is going to be my take on the first 4 episodes, spoiler free, of the second season of Invincible. Sorry. And yeah, let me know in the comments below. Are you excited to see this show? What is your overall take on Invincible? Do you love it? Do you not love it? If you don't like it, it is what it is, but just let me know why. Otherwise, if you like what you see on this channel, hit the subscribe button to join Movie Emporium. Hit that notification bell top to find what's coming next. If you like this video, awesome. Hit that like button. And as always, we'll see you guys on the next video. Peace out.